You're listening to Relevant Radio, 950 AM, 930 AM, and 1270 AM. Talk radio for Catholic life. Good morning. For the next hour, the Archdiocese of Chicago will bring you programs about the people, the issues, and the faith that touch our lives. Welcome to the Catholic Community of Faith.
Listening to Reflecting Christ's Light, and I'm glad you're with me today. It is a damp and dreary day in Chicago, but we've got some really good news to share with you today. I'm Nancy Polachek, and today we're going to be talking about something that Pope Francis has called for over a year ago. He called for a festival of forgiveness during Lent, and I have probably two of my heroes with me today, and I'll tell you why they're my heroes. Father Frank Phillips from St. John Cantius, good morning to you. Father Frank, are you there? Oh, let's see. One more time. Let's try Father Frank. Is he there?
Nancy, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, there you go. Now I can hear you. Father Frank, I said that you're one of my heroes. And the reason I'm saying that is because you heard about this thing called a Festival of Forgiveness, and you picked up the phone and said, I want to be part of that. How does our parish become part of the Festival of Forgiveness? So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Nancy.
And we're going to get into some of the details, but I also want to welcome with us this morning Father Stan Rataj. Father Stan, are you there?
I am here. Good morning, Nancy.
Oh, good. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me. And again, you're one of my heroes. You did the same thing. You heard about the Festival of Forgiveness. You knew that this is something that you wanted to bring to your people. And I thought your voices need to be heard today on the radio. So maybe we need to step back just a little bit. Father Stan, you were the first one to contact me. When you heard about the Festival of Forgiveness, what did it make you think about?
Well, it made me think about another way of possibly providing a moment where people can reconnect to the church, through reconciliation. And when I heard that the Pope had this in mind, and then that the Archdiocese of Chicago was going to be part of it, it took me about 10 seconds to realize that this would be something that I would like Our Lady of the Snows to be a part of.
Well, I'm so glad that you said yes. I'm so glad that you made that first contact. And now I like our listeners, and maybe their interest is piqued a little bit. What is a Festival of Forgiveness? Well, Pope Francis was asking for a way that people could feel healing, where they could feel God's mercy, where they could be forgiven. And so the Church of Chicago came up with kind of a plan, a formula, from noon on February 27th to noon on February 28th. That's like the second weekend in Lent. There's going to be all kinds of things happening around the city, and I've got a couple of examples, but what Father Frank Phillips and Father Stan Rataj are doing is you're opening your parish for 24 hours straight of confessions, the Sacrament of Reconciliation or Sacrament of Penance for 24 hours. That's a huge commitment. Father Frank, why did you say yes? Why did this initiative really pique your interest?
Well, Nancy, when I heard Festival of Forgiveness, I thought this is a contradiction in terms. But then a festival denotes a joy, a peace, a forgiveness.
Yes.
And in the back of our church, we have a very large statue of
the prodigal son, which the Holy Father referred to at one point.
Yes.
And it's actually not the prodigal son. It's a young man at the feet of Jesus. Jesus is embracing him, and he's not dressed as a ordinary person. He's dressed as a pilgrim.
Oh.
And so I thought immediately of what I was hearing, even from Archbishop Supich now, that we're working shoulder to shoulder. We're accompanying people on their pilgrimage.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
What better way to do that in the sacrament of confession?
Well, those are beautiful images. I know Pope Francis, when he talked about this festival of forgiveness that he would like worldwide, and not every country or every diocese will choose those two particular dates that we chose, but that seemed to fit for the people of Chicago. But during Lent, hopefully every local church will find a way to raise up God's mercy and preach God's mercy to people and bring people back to confession. And when you bring people back to confession, there's some statistics, or not statistics, but logistics that we have to take care of. Father Stan, I know you have to deal with languages in your parish, right? At Our Lady of Snows, what languages would you be offering confession in?
Well, we are a multicultural, multilingual parish, and every Sunday we offer Mass in English and Spanish and Polish, and so we consider ourselves to be a full-service parish in those languages. So obviously our challenge is to find round-the-clock confessors in those three languages.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll do it.
Well, and maybe in our listening audience, there are some priests who might have gotten the letter from Archbishop Supich saying, please be generous with your time, especially during this 24 hours, the Festival of Forgiveness. So maybe we'll get a few more phone calls. I know already we've got a couple dozen priests who have signed up to say, I'm available, call me at certain times. A couple of them have put down any hour, midnight to 2 o'clock, doesn't matter. So we'll make sure that we'll pass some of those names on to you.
Great.
Father Frank, can you tell us a little bit about St. John Cantius and the feel of your parish? Are there languages that different languages you're gonna have to be offering confessions in?
Well, the language that we offer is English.
Okay.
I have two priests who would be capable of hearing confession in Spanish, but we're limited in that aspect.
Yeah. Well, and every one of the parishes that are offering 24 hours have a different pattern. There is a parish in the city. It is St. Francis Borgia, and they're offering sign interpreters or a priest who can speak in sign language for people who are hard of hearing or deaf and need that. There's a parish that's offering Italian, but mostly in the Archdiocese of Chicago, you hear a need for English, Spanish, and Polish. I'm wondering if St. John Cantius has ever done something like this before.
Well, Nancy, our parish is known, like St. Mary the Angels, St. Peter's downtown, for confessions. Mm-hmm. And because we have a religious community here, I have 8 priests available. And on Wednesday evening masses, First Fridays, First Saturdays, Saturday evenings, Sundays, I may have all our confessionals, 6 confessionals, occupied with lines of people.
Wow. So
on any given day of those days that we hear confessions, each priest is busy for maybe 1, 2, 3 hours at a time.
Mm-hmm. Why do you find that that's the case, that people drift to your parish for confessions where other parishes might find that a priest would be sitting, alone for an hour with no one lining up? What's the difference at St. John Cantius?
I think it's by word of mouth. And then when you have, the word of mouth spreads things quite rapidly. Because sometimes we'll ask an individual, what brought you here? I heard you have confessions. And the word of mouth is very, very powerful. And I'm convinced that we have also good confessors here, as would a church like St. Peter's,
Yes.
St. Mary of the Angels. And actually, any parish that you would go to would have fine confessors.
Yeah. Well, we really do need to talk a little bit more about the specifics of the day, but we do have to take a station break. We hope our listeners will stay and listen to all the details on the Festival of Forgiveness.
Interested in learning how to tackle faith formation in the 21st century? If so, you are invited to attend an event on February 3rd and 4th called Reimagining Faith Formation in the 21st Century. This 2-day workshop is geared toward parish leaders, pastors, school principals, directors of religious education, youth ministers, and pastoral associates. Its goal is to help you take your parish programs and school programs to the next level when it comes to teaching the faith. The event is hosted by the Office for Catechesis and Youth Ministry, Catholic Schools, and the Lay Ecclesial Ministry Office. More information is available by visiting www.catechesis-chicago.org. Once again, that's www.catechesis-chicago.org. The event is titled Reimagining Faith Formation in the 21st Century, and it will be held on February 3rd and February 4th.
Welcome back to Reflecting Christ's Light. This is Nancy Polachek, and we're talking about the Festival of Forgiveness. This is a request by Pope Francis that all parishes have special moments of prayers for healing, the sacrament of penance, sometime during Lent 2015. And so if you heard the first part of our show, you know that in Chicago we are really raising up God's mercy so everyone hears this message on February 27th and February 28th. And with me today, Father Frank Phillips from St. John Cantius and Father Stan Rataj from Our Lady of the Snows. You guys are my heroes. Your parishes are going to be open for 24 hours straight, and you're going to, I'm just, as a staff member in a parish, I wonder what the staff people thought when you came to them and said, okay, we're open for 24 hours, who's going to take the midnight shift? Father Stan, did you tell your staff, did you brace them, for this news, or were they excited about it?
I did. I have been, ever since we decided that we were going to do this, I've been announcing it at the staff meetings and liturgy team meetings and parish council meetings. And initially they kind of roll their eyes and say, oh, my God, what's he up till now? But then they bought into it immediately because we're a parish that likes to kind of think outside the box a little bit. And anything that we could do that's sort of out of the ordinary that could bring people back to a good thing, our people are on board, and they're very supportive. They're already talking about coming up with a welcoming table and how people can staff the vestibule and welcome people as they're coming in from the moment it opens until the moment it closes. So our people are on board, and they're excited about it.
Well, I think Our Lady of the Snows is an exemplary parish, so thanks for doing that. And the staff, that they're so on board for this, that's just terrific. I really hope that it is as successful as it sounds like it's going to be.
Thank you.
Father Frank, how did you prepare your staff for it? Was this a demand from on high, or was there a discussion about it?
A little bit of both,
Oh.
Nancy.
Uh-huh.
Because, again, thanks be to God, we have a number of priests who are able to hear the confessions, and we are not unaccustomed to having our church open throughout the night for adoration, on special feast days and so on, with confessors available. So it's not something new, but if it's continuous like this, that'll be a challenge in itself. But everyone's has their hours on what they're going to do.
That's great. Well, I just want to highlight a couple of other parishes. Because we have 360 parishes in the Archdiocese of Chicago, not all of them are going to be open for 24 hours. Basically, we have 26 sites, and there will be a list and a map where you can locate all of this. If it's not, probably up by the end of this week, if it's not up already. And that would be on the Archdiocese website, which is archchicago.org. So our listeners might want to go there at the end of the week, look for anything that says Festival of Forgiveness, and they'll find those very special 26 sites. But out of the 360 parishes, most parishes will have something a little bit different. I got a message from St. Joe's in Libertyville, and they have very long extended hours of confession on Friday and Saturday, but they are closed during those late night hours. But this is special for them to have extended hours. I also heard from St. Michael's in the city, and they're doing the same thing. They're offering English and Spanish kind of alternating through most of the day Friday and on Saturday, but just not during some of those evening hours. So that is a little bit of a difference. It's not the 24 hours, but it is a festival of forgiveness, encouraging people to come in. Speaking of special events, Father Stan, didn't you say that you were doing something over at Midway, or you were going to promote this at Midway Airport?
Yes, we're so close to Midway Airport, and some of our parishioners help out there with the Sunday Mass, and we thought that we would put some flyers up in the chapel there. I mean, you never know. Some people might be flying in and have a little layover. We're only 2 minutes away, and even if you get one or two people, I think it would be a great thing. And if nothing else, it'd make people aware of what's going on around the Archdiocese of Chicago.
Yeah, so you're really using all ways of promoting. You said you've been talking about it. You have it in the bulletin. Now you're going to put some flyers out there.
Well, like Father Frank said, the word of mouth is the key. And the more you communicate it, the more you get the word out there, the more effective it's going to be. So we're trying to pull out all the stops.
Yeah, and Father Frank, you're right, that personal invitation sometimes is really the effective way to get people to come. Are you, or I'm sure you are, but maybe you can tell me how you are preaching on God's mercy or inviting people to this festival of forgiveness?
Are you speaking to me? Or
Yes, Father Frank. Mm-hmm.
Well, we always speak about sacrament of reconciliation, the importance of it, the necessity of it, but we always, even Pope Francis, be courageous, go to confession.
Wow.
I mean, and so many of our people have devotion to the divine mercy.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell them, I says, the ocean of divine mercy. And what does that mean for us? Well, did you ever walk into Lake Michigan and lose your footing? You're at the mercy of the water.
Ah.
So that's our Lord's divine mercy, so immense, so tremendous. We can lose ourselves in it, and that's when we see Jesus face to face.
Yeah, and that is, I think, very invitational. When I was a young child, and a lot of people will say this, that confession was kind of a scary thing and it wasn't comfortable. I know Pope Francis, in his the book Evangelii Gaudium, or Joy of the Gospel, at one point he says confessionals should not be torture chambers. Do you remember reading that?
I do.
Yeah. And so I feel like the way, Father Frank, you're talking about inviting people to confession is a whole different way of thinking about it, that it's not something that is difficult, that should make someone anxious. It should give people a sense of relief.
Oh, relief and life. And how many times, Father Stan probably knows this as well, when the confession's over, how many times there's tears of joy? How do you feel now? Like a great weight's been lifted off of me.
Oh, I love that. Well, okay, we have a few more stories to tell and a little bit of advice maybe that you can give to parishioners or parishes, but we do have to take one more break. So I'm hoping everybody will stay with us for one more minute, and then we're going to come back to Festival of Forgiveness.
Are there engaged couples in your parish who are separated by distance because of the military, work, or other situations? These couples may find it difficult to fulfill the marriage preparation requirements. Now there is a way to prepare these couples through an online Catholic marriage prep class found at the Marriage Ministries website, marriageministries.com. Couples watch videos, answer questions that require reflection, and talk about each section over Skype at their own pace. The course is incredibly convenient and easy to use and is now also offered in Spanish. So check out this valuable resource that will help couples strengthen their relationship, catechize them in the Catholic faith, and help them deepen their commitment to the sacrament they are about to receive. Go to marriageministries.com today.
How would your family's life change if you were living on or below $2,000 a month? This statistic fuels the Catholic Campaign for Human Development in their efforts to empower the poor. Visit chicagopeaceandjustice.org.
Welcome back. You are listening to Reflecting Christ's Light, and we really are talking about something that brings light to the world. We're talking about the Festival of Forgiveness that Pope Francis has called for, and our two guests today, Father Frank Phillips from St. John Cantius and Father Stan Rataj from Our Lady of the Snows. You are offering 24 hours of forgiveness, 24 hours of prayers for healing, the sacrament of reconciliation during Lent this year. And I'm so glad that you said yes to this initiative. So thank you for being with me today.
Thank you, Nancy.
I do want to tell you that this has inspired more than just parishes. I got a wonderful phone call from somebody who works at a nursing home, a Franciscan village up on the north side. And this was Dawn Mayer, who actually, she was on the radio for a long time, years ago. And she said they have some retired priests in their assisted living. And the retired priests received a letter from Archbishop Supich saying, we're having this Festival of Forgiveness. Please be open to hearing confessions, when and where you can. They brought that letter to the leadership in the assisted living facility. And Dawn says, we want to have a Festival of Forgiveness here because our residents can't get out. They can't go into parishes. And so they won't be able to have 24 hours of forgiveness, but they really want in this assisted living community to be part of this universal push for bringing people healing and celebrating the forgiveness and God's mercy. What do you think of that idea? Father Stan, what do you think?
I think it's a fantastic idea. In fact, I'm amazed that you mentioned that because we ministered to a local nursing home, the Renaissance, here at Our Lady of the Snows. And right after I'm done with this radio show, I'm going to celebrate Mass there. But we are going to also offer a festival of forgiveness to them. It might not be the same weekend, but we're going to make sure that we get one in before Easter, and the people are just delighted about that. I also want our school kids to get involved in this, because we need to get the young people excited about their faith, and so we're going to do a festival of forgiveness in our school just for the school kids as part of their Lenten preparation for Easter time.
Yeah, so you're really focusing on different ages and the needs of those people, and it may not all happen within a 24-hour period, but this Lent, we are all going to be talking about God's mercy, so that's terrific. Father Frank, do you have any advice for other pastors who may have been a little bit slow getting on board with this? They've heard about it. They're not one of the 24-hour sites. What might they need to hear from you, from another pastor, of how they can celebrate God's forgiveness? Any ideas, any advice for them?
When I came to the parish here a number of years ago, I think on a yearly basis I would hear 2 or 3 confessions.
Really?
Yeah, it was just unbelievable. But then, if you make yourself available for confession, people come. I could be in the church by myself. I could turn on the green light. There's one confession. All of a sudden, there'll be a string of people that appear out of nowhere.
Really?
So it's like that movie, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Same thing with confession, because the Catholic Church has been given this tremendous gift.
Yeah.
And let's use it.
Yeah.
I think the hesitation is time.
Yeah.
How is my time going to be used? And this is where maybe pastors who are by themselves, unfortunately, may have to be more creative in figuring out how to make this great sacrament more accessible.
Well, you almost came up with like the perfect tagline. The light is on. So when the light is on, people will come. I do want you to know that on Ash Wednesday, we're going to see quite a bit of invitation going out, especially from Archbishop Supich, who will be out in the streets giving ashes and telling people February 27th, 28th, come for God's mercy. I want to thank Father Frank Phillips from St. John Cantius and Father Stan Rataj from Our Lady of the Snows. You have been terrific guests. You've been an inspiration, and I am so glad that you were with me this morning.
Nancy, thank you very much.
It's been our pleasure.
Well, have a wonderful Festival of Forgiveness. I'm going to follow up with you after February 28th and find out how it went.
Please do.
Okay.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
You're listening to Relevant Radio, 950 AM, 930 AM, and 1270.